Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. The lightsaber limbo. Son of a bitch. I'm mixed on this one. I'm real mixed on this one. There was some really, truly terrible stuff in this movie. I went in this movie believing I was going to see one of the best I honestly thought that. And I've stayed away from a ton of Star Wars stuff. Anything that's Star Wars related, I have avoided it just so I wouldn't get any spoilers. I watched the one trailer. I believe it was just the one trailer. And then I was done after that. And I truly, honestly believed this would be even better than The Force Awakens. But I didn't walk out of the theater with the same experience. I walked out of the theater. I bought a ticket for my brother. We went and saw Phantom Menace together years ago, a long time ago, and then we were gonna see it today. And we walked out, and I didn't know what to say. I'm like, so, and he was like, putting his phone away. Then we get to the car, and I'm, we're at the point where neither one of us is. We both looked at each other like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's so mixed. I tell you what, right now I'll tell you, I think I got to rewatch it, but I don't honestly believe there's enough excellent moments to save this movie. I really don't foresee myself watching this a lot more. I might check it out once or twice more. It's definitely better than Rogue One in my book. I know the ending in Rogue One had me hyped. Then I went and got it on Blu-ray. I watched it once, and it was unbearable to sit through a second time. And now that the Vader scene at the end, once that wore off, Rogue One is just a flat disappointment, utter disappointment. Anyway, this movie, we're gonna go into spoilers in a second, but for spoiler-free, I was going to say, don't even bother. Vote with your wallet. Don't even bother. It's not even worth going to see it. But that's not true, because there's a few scenes that are worth seeing in the theater. And this movie, this franchise, is so big, it's going to make money regardless. So it's not going to teach them anything to vote with your wallet this time. So go see it. Come back and give your thoughts and opinions in the comments, because I do want to start doing this thing where we revisit certain topics and go through the comments and pull some fan feedback topics. So we'll try it with this one. Maybe in a few weeks we'll revisit this and have another discussion after this movie has settled a little bit. So go check it out. I feel like the last thing, spoiler free, I'll say, I feel like this movie was put together by, and some scenes were overbearingly done. It was overbearing, as if it was fans, like the fan fiction, just overbearing. And then parts of it were just truly excellent, excellent filmmaking. And then there was that sliver that honestly felt like people who didn't like Star Wars was in charge of the ship and just cramming shit in there to out with the old, in with the new. Let's just get rid of them as quick as possible. I don't know. Anyways, that's it with the spoilers. Let's go into that's it with the spoiler free. Let's go into the spoilers. So yeah, bounce quick, because I'm diving right into it. I want to burn through this. The Poe versus Rebels. I feel like whoever sat down to do the script was not confident enough to do a Star Wars movie. It honestly feels like they're chasing their tail. And I kind of feel like they didn't even go for it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it feels safe now looking back. For example, the Poe versus the Rebels. I did kind of like that. I mean, the one girl got up and she's like in charge and shit, and I'm like, she doesn't look. Put her in a uniform. She looks ridiculous. But I liked how he's like, no, you're crazy. You're not making the right calls. And then he set something up, and then that fell through. Leia came in. She stunned him. And here, yes, the girl knew what she was talking about. They were doing a getaway. And then, oh, rope-a-dope again. They faked this out. No, the rebels, or I'm sorry, the Empire is on, the First Order is on to them. It felt like they were chasing their tail. And that's a chunk of screen time that could have gotten removed. And I feel like I know why the writers are doing this. We need to have Poe do something, but we also need this stuff going on with the rebels. Let's have them chasing each other, chasing their tails. And then with the Finn and Rose stuff, one of the most boring moments in the movie. I like the Finn and Rose character, and I honestly just did not want to be there. I did not want to watch this. I wish I could have had the fast forward. Just terrible. They went to a casino, and once that was over, that was connected to the Poe Dameron storyline. A massive chunk of that could have gotten taken out, and you see why they do it, but in the same strength, just to have somebody, some random dude we met in a jail cell, just to have him betray them, we ate up like 20-30 minutes of screen time. Just ridiculous. So then we have Phasma. She gets a little more screen time. She gets a little bit of a fight. I didn't think it was as epic as it should have been, but now she's finally dead. Definitely dead-zo. And then we have the humor was hit or miss. When it missed, it was just forced, and it was obvious. And I'm kind of shocked some of it made it into the movie. Even for a Star Wars movie or a modern-day Disney Star Wars movie, it was forced. Leia, one of the worst scenes ever in a Star Wars movie. Maybe it's just me, but she gets killed and sucked out of the spacecraft. And I'm thinking, I'm not an expert in space. I remember hearing shit when I was a kid about space will just make you implode or you'll freeze to death. Some shit like that. I think it's you'll freeze to death is the official thing, but she gets sucked out and then she uses the Force and comes back in one of the most ridiculous visuals ever. Just what? One of the best moments, though, was when that girl hit the light speed and she ripped right through the Empire's huge craft, or the First Order's. Man, it went all silent, and then beautiful scene. Those scenes, those moments are why I'm going to rewatch this again when it's released on Blu-ray. I really did like that. I dig that scene a lot. Leia had a moment with Luke. I liked it, but it felt like, again, the writers weren't confident in what to put. So it's okay. That's it. That's safe, right? That's good. No, we need writers with some balls to come in here. Guys or girls, I mean that, you know, I don't mean that figuratively, metaphorically. We need some writers with some... And I like Rian Johnson. I like him a lot. You know, I was hyped when I heard he was writing or directing whatever he was doing. No, you need someone who's going to take some serious risks and come in here, or confident enough in their craft, and write an interaction between Luke and Leia. That's their interaction? I mean, we lost an interaction between Han and Luke, and I'm like baffled that we lost that. And then this is what you give us for them? No, not buying it. Now we have Luke. I wrote down his lightsaber. Oh, yeah, the lightsaber limbo. So, geez. First off, his look. Luke's look was excellent. Not his look throughout. His look in the flashback, and then when he was fighting Kylo Ren, was incredible. I love that look. That look of Luke Skywalker, if they ever make something where I could throw it on the shelf here, I want to grab it. I think they're like 1/6 scales. He looks incredible. He looks like old school Luke, but aged somewhat, you know? Well, obviously that's what he is, but you know what I'm saying? It felt authentic, like an authentic spillover from the original trilogy. Anyhow, I remember what I mean by lightsaber. At the end of the Force Awakens, I always said it was so dumb how she just holds out the lightsaber. It should have went like this, and I'll stick with this forever, because this is better. She holds out the lightsaber, and then they zoom in instead of circling around them, and she's just standing here like this. Visually, it looks corny. Anyway, she's holding out the lightsaber, and it starts to shake, and then it lifts off her hands. And then you're left going... you know, was that her Force pushing it to him? Was that him, you know, Force pulling it to him, bringing it to him? And it's a little thing, I know, and it might even be silly, but imagine that look. The lightsaber shakes, and then it lifts off her hand gently, and then you cut to black. Beautiful moment, because in this one, she walks up to him, and then she holds it out again. It's like, what kind of ridiculous shit is... First off, it looked stupid back then, and now she's holding it out, and then she stops and walks up to him and she holds it out again. It's like, come on, people. We got Yoda. We got a Yoda moment. Me and my brother were making fun of this hardcore because it looked terrible as a CGI Yoda. And somebody just told me in a comment online that was a puppet Yoda. That was like the puppet from back in the day. And I'm baffled. There's no way that was the puppet. If it is, there's no way. It looked terrible. It looked like they were making a Yoda for a video game. It looked great for a video game, but for a Star Wars movie, I don't get this. Take the damn puppet that they used for the originals, or a remade puppet. Make the damn puppet again. It works, and it'll be consistent with how he moved in the original. I don't get it. You got a good thing. Why mess with it? And I guarantee they spent a ton of money. If it was CGI, they spent a ton of money making him CGI. That's ridiculous. Get Yoda, the puppet, bring him onto the stage, and if that's what they did, I want to dig deeper, because something ain't right here. You know, it looked silly. Oh, the monster milk. Someone left me a comment online. I will disagree with one thing. Someone said, oh, he walks up to a creature and squirts, you know, and then he drinks from it. What kind of sick shit is that? And I was thinking, you know, when I first saw it in the theater, I was like, oh, that's kind of odd. But we do that. You guys don't drink milk or cereal? I'm not a fan of milk. I'll be honest with you. I might drink, you know, a little bit of milk here and there. You know, I don't drink a lot at all. And that's what we do. Obviously, you don't walk up to a cow and go squirt, squirt. But essentially, that's where it's coming from. Unless I was lied to my entire life, you know? I don't know. I've never worked on a farm, but I always believe that's kind of how it is. There's a process, yes. But essentially, that's where it comes from. Anyway, so I don't care about the monster milk. Yeah, it's a little weird, but still, Luke in the past, I love this. One of my friends, big Star Wars fan, he was enraged that Luke would try to kill Ben Solo, and I just have to disagree. Now, hold on. When Kylo says it that Luke was trying to kill him, I was like, oh my god, nah, that's risky. I like where this is going, and I want to see, I'm interested to see what Luke's perspective is, because I know it's got to be a little bit different, but similar to that. And sure enough, it was. Same thing, and Luke was telling him how he had this moment, this telling Rey, this impulsive moment where he pulls the lightsaber, and then he thought about it again, and he's like, I failed my student. And that's when Kylo woke up. One of my favorite moments in the script, my friend is mad at me. He thinks that's ridiculous, but one of my favorite moments in this movie, I truly, honestly loved the hell out of that moment. Like that moment and a couple others, those are those excellent moments that are going to get me to buy this Blu-ray when it comes out. Liked it. And then later it's the lightsaber limbo, him and Kylo Ren, and here he's just a force. He's force projecting himself, which they did set that up earlier. I did get it afterwards, and I was relieved. I think I was more relieved, so I didn't even think about whether that was cool or not. But they set it up when Kylo Ren was... I don't even know what to call it. Kylo Ren was force intercomming. I don't know. When he was talking to Rey using the force, and then he had the rain or her spit, I forget which one, on his face. It was the rain. And so they set that up earlier, and I was like, that's clever. And then they show him back on the island, and I'm fine with that force projecting shit. And as long as we get Mark Hamill, because I felt terrible, they really didn't give him a lot to go on at all in the first movie, and he really should have had a good chunk here. And then he dies. You see his cloak floating away. He gave up all his energy, force projecting himself, and now he is he's got blue balls permanently. What? I feel if Mark Hamill says, screw you, Disney, I'm done, and doesn't come back to do any blue ball ghost shit, be in the Force, I support him 100%. I don't have any problems if he does that. I think he got jerked around. He didn't get enough. They should have gave him more. And see what I mean? Where it feels like, well, let's do this trilogy where we're making, you know, insane buttloads of money. But let's just rush out the old characters or give them a little bit. They're old. No, no, no. Yes, this is not Luke's story, but transition gracefully. For me, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. We needed more Luke Skywalker. It just was not enough. I'm not happy with that at all. Anyway, so, yeah. I'm sure there's some other things with Luke that I'm just going to breeze over. Some cool stuff, but let's move on. Kylo and the helmet. Here's another thing. You made this character look cool with this helmet. And I like Adam Driver. Nothing against him. I really like him. I like him so much. And from The Force Awakens, someone told me he was really good in a show called Girls. And it's one of the most unbearable TV shows to even sit through. It is terrible. I sat through some of that, fast forwarding, looking for Adam Driver moments. And he's excellent. He is terrific. His scenes were great. Most of them I had to give up. It is like... it's almost suicide because your brain wants to shut down every now and then. Anyway, so he smashes his helmet. I thought that was lame. I did want him to see his helmet, but I understood story-wise why they were going that direction. But still, couldn't they have written that so that way he had his mask at least some of the movie? And the stuff with Rey, I do like the Force intercomming. I do like her falling for the trap, going to Snoke, and they built Snoke up. He seemed like an adversary you need to be very careful with and not underestimate. And pretty much everything there, there's moments, little moments here and there I'm sure I didn't like, but that's set up. And then how Kylo Ren is going to kill her, but he's using his hand to move the lightsaber, and then he goes ahead and kills Snoke and pulls the lightsaber to him. Like that, and I like the fight. I feel like Snoke, though, if you were just going to kill him off now, and he didn't even make it out of the damn room, you know? If you were going to kill him off now, why didn't we get more of Snoke in the first one? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't understand this decision. Anyway, I don't know. I'm thinking about whether or not I like this movie has actually drained me. Yeah, I'm at a mix. I might end up rewatching this, and the same thing happens with Rogue One, where I just don't like it. Rogue One is a movie I'm probably never gonna watch again. I might watch in 10 years and be like, maybe I'll like that again. But The Last Jedi was a massive disappointment, with still some excellent moments that are still so excellent. You want to talk about it, you want to like it, you want to buy it, you want to support it, but the weaker moments bog it down so much you're left a mixture of things. So I'll tell you right now, if you put a gun in my head and you said, Ronnie, I need to know, is this good or is this bad? I'm going to have to go with bad. It's not good enough to be in the good ballpark. That's it. End of story. End of story. I can't do it. It's just bad. The movie was bad. Star Wars, The Last Jedi, it was not good. Comment down below a whole bunch of shit talking. I'm sure we could pick out some funny comments too later on when we do some fan feedback. Thanks for coming by and hearing my thoughts on this. I am truly a big Star Wars fan. I'm not the fan who dives deep into the dictionary books and I don't know what everything's called, but I grew up watching the movie. When we were little, we didn't have much, so we had these VHS tapes with Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi, and that was it. It took us years. We used to see A New Hope on TV every now and then, but I grew up on those, wearing those VHS tapes out. After that, I didn't get into the books or the comics or whatever, but I've always maintained a love, especially for those original 3 movies. So much so, I own a VCR just to watch the originals, because I don't like the changes George Lucas did. Some of them are good, some of them are just utterly ridiculous. So yeah, keep in mind, this is not someone who hates Star Wars. I have a VCR just to watch the old original movies the way they were, untouched, mind you. I went to Salvation Armies just to find the old ones that were untouched. So yeah, make of that what you will. Thanks for coming by. Leave your thoughts and opinions down in that comment box. And there's something that happened at the very end that left me utterly confused. I can't find anyone who knows anything about that. I'm gonna post that video right behind this one, so stay tuned for the Broom Boy. All right, thoughts and opinions down there. I'm done talking. It's your turn.